Hello and welcome to the ITCC 2012, hosted by Sim Racing Online. Round 1 qualifying went like this. Miles Dixon on pole for Revolution Motorsport, second his teammate Simon Crane, Dom Tomlinson third, Jake Lewis fourth, Matt Kilsby fifth and Cameron Davies sixth. Race 1 results: Dom Tomlinson was first, Simon Crane second, Jake Lewis third, Matt Kilsby fourth, Miles Dixon fifth and Cameron Davies sixth. Simon Crane gets 1 point for the fastest lap of the race.
So, on pole for race 2 was Jake Lewis of Team Carbon in the Peugeot RCZ. Behind him was Simon Crane in the Revolution Motorsport Honda Civic. In third was Dom Tomlinson, race 1 winner, in his veteran racing Kia Forte Coupe, and just behind him is Miles Dixon in the other Revolution Motorsport Honda Civic. Now all the cars got cleanly through this first corner, no contact to mention, but car number 4, which belongs to Matt Kilsby, had to be deducted from pole position as his car was a danger to the other drivers as he had connection problems. So this is the moment at which Simon Crane took the lead of the race from Jake Lewis. Jake Lewis outbraking himself going into Beckett, and Simon Crane managed to get himself out in the lead. Cameron Davies in the Team ARS Audi spun out on one of the early laps and therefore got some damage to the car and couldn't continue, so he retired from the race on lap 3. However, at the front of the grid, Simon Crane was starting to eke out a lead, but Miles Dixon had gotten by the Peugeot of Jake Lewis and was closing quickly on his teammate. He was very close coming up onto the final straight and almost overtook his teammate going into Copse. However, he did keep close for the next few laps. And was constantly making moves going into onto pretty much all the corners around the track. A little bit of contact there put up his bonnet, but he did not need to change it as it was only he did not need to pit as that was only cosmetic damage. So as the Revolution Hondas were eking out a lead, Jake Lewis and Dom Tomlinson were having their own battle behind. One which Dom won going into Luffield. Contact between the two Hondas meant that their rivalry was closer than ever, as Miles got by Simon into Luffield. Simon did have a chance of going back against him though, keeping close of him coming out of the final corner and heading up to Copse. But Simon did eventually get by and start to eke out a little bit of a lead again. However, understeer plagued the Hondas as they came past the midway stage of the race, and Miles went at the side of Simon with what looked to be a brake lockup. Simon was then allowed back past his teammate and regain the lead. However, Miles wasn't going to stay off his back and was immediately attacking him again coming into Luffield. However, this time they were being followed by Dom Tomlinson in the veteran racing Kia. All of them are line astern going across the start-finish line. As Dom Tomlinson's car, which is a little bit kind of on its tyres, was starting to come into play. And as the Revolution Hondas were squabbling over first position, this allowed Dom to catch up a lot and get some chances of taking the lead. However, Miles Dixon got by Simon, or what looked to be got by Simon, but then understeered out of the corner after he braked too late. Half the job was done for Dom now. All he had to do was get by Simon and he'd have the lead. A lead he'd get going into his favourite overtaking spot at Luffield. At first it looked like he hadn't gotten through, but Simon understeered wide and Dom closed the door on him. Miles almost seeking through too as he stalked Dom coming into the field. There was contact between the two Revolution Hondas as Miles forged his way into second place. And then Miles started also catching up on Dom. On just the next lap, he was right up on his bumper, and both of them was getting a steady lead over Simon Crane. And just to show the Kia's superiority on the straight, here we've got an onboard shot from Miles Dixon's Revolution Honda, and the Kia just seemingly drifting away from him. The Kia is faster on the straights as it's more powerful, but the Honda has got better cornering speeds, and that's why the cars were both on pole. And now we're looking back from Dom Tomlinson's Kia at both the Revolution Hondas. So, really just stalking the Kia now. Kia's tyres are starting to get a bit too worn now for the car to operate well, and the Honda seem to be coming into their own, as both drivers seem to be able to cope with the wear a lot better. However, the Kia's superior speed means that it can get away from the straight and makes the car difficult to overtake coming into the tighter corners and overtaking spots on the track. And coming into the Cops, there were 4 cars in view, one of them being lapped, of course. Matt Kilsby's Peugeot was 3 laps down at this point. Both the Hondas looking strong as they come into Maggots and Beckett. However, Simon having a lag spike and Dom going wide meant that the lead was in Miles' hands, and Simon eventually retired of connection failure. As we follow Jake Lewis around, who's now recovered 3rd place due to Simon's retirement. However, no one could stop Miles Dixon from taking his first win of the season. It's also a first win for Revolution Motorsports, and will put them top of the constructors after the first 2 races of the year. Dom Tomlinson managing to finish 2nd keeps him in the lead of the drivers' standings, and Jake Lewis finishing 3rd gives him a solid result for the weekend's action. So, confirmation of the results. Miles Dixon finishing 1st. He also gets the fastest lap of the race, which gives him an extra point. Dom Tomlinson just 3.5 seconds behind his veteran racing Kia. Jake Lewis in a solid 3rd place, only 9 seconds behind the leader. Matt Kilsby 5 laps down, but manages to get some points for the Carbon Racing team. And Simon also finishing in the points as he gets past the 50% rule. In the lead of the drivers, it's Dom Tomlinson 2nd, Simon Crane just 14 points behind Miles Dixon, 16 points. Jake Lewis on the same as Miles, and Matt Kilsby on 22. Cameron Davies did not score over the weekend due to 2 retirements. And in the Constructors, it's Revolution Motorsport who top it, followed by Carbon Racing just 7 points behind, and Veteran Racing on 43 points. And remember, if you want to sign up for the ITCC, just go to simracingonline.4emotion.co.uk and follow the links.